Well, welcome back to Houston Newsmakers, where I'm joined by Stan Stanart, the Harris County Clerk, who has the responsibility for the elections that take place here in Harris County. What are you planning for as far as expected turnout? We talked before we went on the air here, and the indications are that it could be a big turnout.
It will. We're planning on 1.4 million voters. That means 750,000 are going to vote early. We're going to have over 100,000 ballot by mails returned to us. We've already have 50,000 in our office that's been returned. We're breaking records in ballot by mail. And
can you tell from, what is it you use to tell how many people are going to be voting? What kind of, what do you do?
It's just expertise of looking at past patterns and also the growth in voter registration. We're breaking, records there. We're over 2.2 million, and they're still processing at the tax office ones that have come in. So lots of voters.
We have had issues in the past where some of the polling stations may have been caught not enough machines, not enough volunteers, that sort of thing, and that's kind of been an ugly little dust up from time to time. People accuse things,
yes,
but what's going on with that to make sure that that the various polling places will have the appropriate number of machines, the appropriate number of people?
Well, that was in the primary, and that's where the party actually picks their locations, and they pick what their anticipated turnout was this last
So you rely on the party for those
Yes,
numbers.
They got burned pretty heavily this last primary. The Democratic Party did. And the Republican Party got close, but is still beyond their expectations, highest expectations. In this election, we had just about every machine out. We have a few spares for an emergency, but other than that, we've got everything allocated out to our 765 Election Day locations, or our 46 early voting locations across Harris County.
We talked I told people about the website. One of the things about that website that lets you know that people go to it, they can get a chance to look at the ballot.
Yes.
And the ballot's very important because there's so much on it, but you can find out specific things about your specific ballot if you go in the right place.
Yes, if you look at the full sample ballot on the front page, it's 8 tabloid pages long.
Which could be intimidating.
It is.
Yeah.
But go look up your own personal ballot, and you can find your personal ballot. It's probably a page and a half long. So much easier to manage, and you can print that out, mark it up, and bring it with you into the polling booth.
Okay, from what you're telling me now, with the number of people that you expect, I'm guessing that you want to suggest to everybody early vote if you possibly can.
Yes, please.
And you have extended hours along that process as well, have you not?
Yes, in the first week, we've gone to normal is 8 to 4:30. We're now 8 to 6 p.m. during the first week of early voting.
And then Saturday, it's a longer day.
Oh, yes, 7 to 7.
And then Sunday, we take a little break to
go to church.
Then whatever.
1 to 6 p.m.
And then that whole final week going into the election, it's 12-hour days for everybody.
Yes, it's a pedal to the metal. It's 7 to 7 all day. And don't wait till the last day of early voting, please. There will be lines. We'll do over 100,000 on that last day of early voting.
And then the day of voting, some people just traditionally like to do it on that day.
Yes.
But with more people out there, you want to suggest that they try to get done early if they can.
Yes, don't wait till the last 2 hours. There will be lines if you wait till the last 2 hours on election day.
For those of us who look at these numbers and are anticipating the results, let me ask you something about that. With all the information you have on the early voting that cranks and then that ends on Friday and then not until election day, when the polls close and we get the first chance to get numbers, how soon, why does it take so long? At least it seems to me. How quickly can you put the early voting numbers out? Will they come like straight out once the polls close on election day?
Yeah, we cannot release anything until the polls have closed.
Got that.
Okay. And if we got long lines, then we might delay that. Okay, we did that in the primary. My goal is if we can get the people in the building, then we will release the numbers.
I got you.
That was why we purposely, intentionally, and it's per Texas election code, delayed this last primary. Now, I anticipate 7 p.m. is still our goal. We actually do the tabulation literally about 15 minutes before 7 p.m. So nobody knows any results until that 15 minutes before. The judges in our central count and alternate judges and from both parties and the poll watchers, they're the only ones that are able to see anything a few minutes early. But our intent is 7, but if there is long lines, we might delay.
This is every 4 years or so we have this national election going on with everything else. This is kind of like your Super Bowl every 4 years, isn't it?
That's what we call it. The Super Bowl of elections is very appropriate with the Super Bowl coming to Harris County next year.
Right, right. And talk about the number of people it takes to pull this off and the cross section of people who make it happen. We heard with the Ohio the Secretary of State and Marco Rubio, talking about the cross-section of people who come and actually are part of this process that kind of helps make sure that things are going according to Hoyle, so to speak.
Yes, I have almost 700 temporary positions in my office that their purpose is to run the early voting, to run the ballot by mail, and work the warehouse. And then on election day, you can have about 6,000 people in Harris County working elections, whether that's at the polls, one of those 765 locations, the support groups, the technicians, people on the phones, just a massive undertaking to run elections. And we're bigger than 25 states.
Right. All parties involved, people from both sides of it.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah. Both parties. In fact, we even had the Green Party on the ballot board this year. The Libertarians chose not to be, but they could have participated.
Stan, thank you for coming in. We appreciate it so much. Good luck to you and your staff over the next couple of weeks.
That's right.
It's going to be busy. You're getting your rest, right?
We're working on it, yes. It'll be fun, too. Just pay attention. You guys are here, and let the word be out.
All right. Thank you, Stan.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.